Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So that is, we have to taken care of the session management either in the session storage or in the local storage. So which are the two HTML with JavaScript, the objects which we'll use, which is session storage and local storage. Where a session storage, once your browser is closed, it will be remove the data from that. But local storage, irrespective of you clear it, like local storage dot clear method, till that it will be not clear the item. So data will be stored in the local storage and it is accessible through all the pages under the same domain. Like we will use different methods like local storage dot get item, local storage dot set item. By using that we can taken care here. So I will just take here local storage. Like once the login has happened, so where we are sending the token, so the same details can be used to local storage also. Local storage dot set item. So where what is the name you want to give it? That name of item can be given, and what is the value you want to store it. So that is this dot login form dot value of username. So that is what is the username we are providing which we want to display it. So that's what I have written for the customer. So then same way, if it's a type of admin, so I want to give admin as a local storage set item of uname. So it is also same. And then another method which we have it here, either it's a driver. So that is here also we set the same. So for all the three types of login, we have set the storage item, which is local storage dot set item. Then what is the local storage set item? We have set it in the either in the login, like for all other components, we have to give it. Like let me first show what is the application is running. So it's a simple travel application where we can register the driver or register as a user. Or like I have some user, or let me just register a driver. Manish. So license number have a format. So there is one driver registered successfully. So where if you are login with this page, like I have admin and I have a, like here in my database, let me just check what is the admin. Okay, admin, and you can see here Manish login status is null because he has not logged in. And I have one user which is called type admin. So that I will just go to that Anil and Anil 1234. Your case sensitiveness. So that once the admin is logged in, like whenever he go to all buses, which are all the buses already there, that will be displaying. So that is with the session management, we want to display what is the data here it's coming. So that is we have stored in the one variable which is called local storage dot set item. So let me just go to the any page which is which is here, add new bus or view bus is here. The view bus component is we will take here uname equals to local storage dot get item which is uname, and that we want to display it, or we can update to the nav bar itself. That is, we have a different nav bars, which is what is my nav bar currently, which is admin nav bar. Let me just go to the admin nav bar. So in the admin nav bar, so maybe inside of a constructor or anywhere, so we can write it here like uname, which is a string, and this dot uname, which is local storage, yeah, local storage dot get item of uname we have taken. Let me just write it just single quotes. So that uname we want to get it so that we stored in one variable. So in the admin navbar component HTML. So just showing all the links. So with all these links after all this li, I will just take one more li, which I don't want to make it as a clickable. So that is which is here uname. So that just interpolation we have used, and we have written here the uname. So that is, let us just come back here to our application. So once any change is done, so we use the auth guards here. The authentication guards are enabled. So it will log out and we have to log in again. So I will just log in with the user. Where it is showing all users. Okay, I guess it is coming here with the black letters. We are not able to see. Let me just keep a same class so that it will be. Here we can see now. So the who is the person is logged in, it is showing here. So this way we can take in care of the management, the session management method, that is to take in care of your username and password. So where the details, like once you have done the logout, if you come back, you can't. So where, but we want to clear the things which is stored in the local storage. So that is where we have written the logout. So that is here we have written the logout method, which is calling here auth.logout. So inside of a login component HTML, we'll just okay, sorry, which one I was just seeing? Yeah, the admin nav component here, authentication service have a logout method. So that is we have to go to the authentication service, and in that we have a logout method. So that is local storage remove item. So already with other name also I have stored it, just to show for you I have written another. So which is, we'll use it here, the remove item. And what is the item which we have stored, which is uname. So whatever the local storage items we have stored. So once we do log out, it should be removed. So whichever the login user has done, so that also will be taken care here. So then we are removing the, like we are redirecting to the navigate. So where just let me just again do login because it's done the code changes. So then here it's showing all the names. So it's as we are in the navigation bar, we have taken care. So you go to any particular link, so it will be able to take all your details. Okay. So once we do the logout, so it is done. And once we come back, it will be not able to taken care because we are enabled with the guards for this. So already the authentication guards are enabled with this. So that is once you go for the routing, like in the previous session, we already discussed and done with the auth cards. So same thing here also done it here. Like let me just go to app routing module TS. So in the, it's a single module code so that we have a lot of components here. So that is view route, which view pickup, view drops, add route, and there are number of components which are available in this. Okay, so for every components we have to use the auth cards. But registration component and for the login component, we don't require any guard to watch because that is the first page which we want to open it. So for that, you no need to mention the auth card by using the can activate. And when you just go to the auth card code, which have the can activate method, so we are just checking this dot auth dot is logged in. So is logged in is a method which we have written in the auth component. Sorry. So here we written one method which is to get the token, local storage dot get item and send token. That is whenever the login is successful, here we have just done the coding this also as a separate. Instead of writing in all the login modules, we are sending to the one service and that service will taken care of our local storage set item. So then here we created one name called logged in user, which we are passing token. That is what whoever logged in, that will be given here. The username will be taken to token. And we are checking is logged in. Is logged in will written if this dot get token is not equal to null, it will check the condition. If it is not equal to null, whoever the person is logged in, the uname will be written. So based on that, the AuthGuard TS will be checked. If the authentication is logged in, if true, then it return a true, else it will be written a false, and it should be navigate to the login page. It should be navigate to the login page. So that's where we have taken care of the session management in this particular application. And as we want to make it a role based application, so like we can go with the different applications to be taken care, or in this particular application I made it everything as a one. Okay, so it's only one application. So this way how the session management will be taken care. Are you clear with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the next one here, which we have how the Angular interaction with the another Angular application. So like you have one Angular application should be interacted with other Angular application, or it may be any type of a application, any type of a front end maybe. Okay, how we will be configuring. So if you want to configure all these things, so we have some providers called external providing to be taken care here. So I just written here. Yeah. So that is if your application is working in some other port, or it may be in any system. Okay, we don't know where it is. Basically it's IP address or your host name. So we want to access to the external host, external. How we will be accessing? For this, we have something called, we have to create the external URL directive to access the element reference and the router. So that is here with the host listener, or we will be creating our own directive which have the element ref and the private router. Then when you take a host listener here, so we will be taking click event which is this dot element dot whatever the element we have written here, that element DOM reference, which will call the native element dot href, that is whatever the anchor tag you have taken. So when you clicked on that, so it should be navigated to this dot router dot navigate to external redirect and external URL. So you have to create one path for this. So when you design your routing, if you want to go with any external routings, so this one should be configured. So that is here we have to mention skip location change to. That is, if the location got changed, so we have to skip this part. And the prevent default. So that is, if you're not writing a prevent default, so it will be again reloading. So we don't want the default changes to be taken care. That's what we have written it here, the one directive. So in the routing module, we have to give it here the provider called external URL provider. This is the external URL provider, which is predefined here, which is predefined from the Angular library itself. So with that, we will configure here what is the external URL we wanted with the route.param-map.get external URL. What is the external URL here we will be getting? So by using window.open external URL, which is for the self. So it should be open in the same page. It should be open in the same page. This we have to configure it in the routing module. This we have to configure it in the routing module. Let me just show it to you how it will be happening. Or happen to my system. Let me just open the other project. So this is the previous app which was using. So now we have a two application, one is Travelcations and one is here e-commerce app. So how these will be interacting, that's what we will see it now. I will just make run this application. Give me a minute. I'll make first this application also should be running. Already 4200 is occupied, so I have to change the port number. So we can use hyphen port equals 4300, like any port which you can use it. Yeah, let it run. So within that time, we'll just discuss about this. So like in the app component TS, I just took one anchor tag which have a hedge reference, which we have done here the property binding, and we are giving here the URL which is of localhost 4200. Okay, and the localhost 4200, which application is running. Whenever I clicked on this link, so it should go to Travelcations. So this is the code which we have written. But as it is a external link, if it is a routing, internal routing, we can use with the routing module, whatever the routing code we have written, that we will send it here. So, but it is a external link. So that for that we have created one more of our directive, which is called app external URL. So app external URL is the selector for the directive, which I have created here. External URL directive TS. So here first we are taking, so app external URL is our selector. So where what we have written, so where first we got here the element ref object, that is to identify your DOM element. So that is to render by the DOM element, and to go with the routing, we have user router, because whenever we want to do any link changes, or you want to interact with any navigation bars, we have to go with the routing in the Angular. So for that, I have taken here the router component. So then we go with host listener or host binding. Host binding basically for any CSS property to be applied. Here it is a event handling. So that's what we have taken here, the host listener. How we done the directive in the first two sessions. So the same way here, I've taken one host listener. Host listener binded with the event. We have taken here the click. So that event we are doing the property binding here. So what event? That is here whenever we clicked on it. So for the host listener, we are writing one method which is capturing here the event, which we are taking if this dot URL dot native element dot href. So the same href we are doing the property binding. We have done the property binding with respect to app component. And we are checking if not URL, then we have to return nothing, else it will come here and check, navigate to the external URL, external redirect. So this is one of the URL which is present in the our routing module. And we are mentioning the property for this, which should be sending what is the URL you want to send it. So if you are only sending the routing, so this is enough. But if you want to send the route parameters, we will send it like this. So then we are just mentioning to prevent the default changes to be. So we mention the event.prevent default. So once you go to the routing here in the app routing module TS, so we have to configure whenever you want to do with the external application. So I have taken here one path which is external redirect and can activate external URL provider. But only path if you give it, either you have to give load children or we have to give a component. So if that particular component or the particular application is not up, so we have to create one dummy component and we have to make it here. That component should be mapped to the external redirect URL. Because whenever you go with the routing of a routes, so mandatory when the path is present, either you have to give the component or load children. Any of this is mandatory. So either of one should be used. So we have used here component, which is a not found component. There is no code in that. It is a dummy component. Like you can just see, it's just not found component works. Okay. So where we have given only this path, but for this we have to give the provider what we have to. So that is in the providers, there is a predefined class called external URL provider. External URL provider as the class which we have to get it from the injector token. So that is external URL provider equals new injector token and external URL redirect resolver. So this we have to configure whenever you want to go with the any other Angular applications to be working on. Okay. So where if you come down this here, so we have to configure here if the provider is external URL provider, so then what is the use value you have to provide it. So it's a routing, so we want to give activated route snapshot, so which is for the external URL, what is the route.param.map.get of external URL, that is what is the name you have sent it here. And this is the name should be matched here with what is the external URL which you have configured in the component. Then we are giving here window.open. This is a simple JavaScript code to give. It should be open in the same page. So that's why we have given the self here. That's what we have given the self. So this is the code which we have to configure. Like now there are two applications are running. Let me just go here. Localhost 4300. Okay, you can see here I got a Travelcations link. If I click on a Travelcations, you can see it is going to the other URL which is of localhost 4200. So same like our previous application how it is used. So some same way we can use it here. So this is the microservice applications we can configure with this.
Sweta, instead of redirection, suppose my parent UI has suppose two layouts.
Okay.
Vertically, I sliced into two layouts. Okay.
Okay.
And I want to display a default things in the one layout, and the suppose left layout I want to render what is there in the second application. Is it possible? How is it?
Yeah, we can do it. Like we have an option called multi project module. So that is what we can do it here. So once we generated once our project is done, so we can configure it to another project also. Like how will you generate a component? You will use ngg new, right? So that is
Yeah.
whenever you want to just generate a new component, you will use it here, NGGC component. Instead of that, what we can do it, we can use NGG application. So that application, it will create a new project inside of your project only. So it will be a sub project. So it will create another project folder here, and all other projects will be there. So you can take that particular project into your project and configure it in any ways. You can mention where you want to render the another project also. Like your requirement is like only in this particular place you want to render it, right? Yeah, so that way you can do it.
Okay.
So
But
any
if we
doubts with
create
this? Yeah.
no, but if you create an application like that, if I use ng new and
Application.
application if I give, so I was thinking from the deployment perspective, like suppose the parent application runs at a port 4200, I want to Dockerize that, and I have a child app. How will the application, if it is a sub application of the parent, how both can be run parallelly in two different ports? Is it the same
You
ng
can
share?
no, you can configure a different ng server for each application.
Okay.
So when you do Dockerizing, so that you can make a multiple containers.
We can still make a multiple, even though the source code is coupled up, but
Yes.
when we deploy, we can run it into two Docker instances at different ports, isn't it?
Yes. Like
Okay.
it will be not inside of your SRC, it will be come out of the SRC. Here it will be one project will be created. So like inside one project, it will be created a sub projects. Okay. So that sub projects we can run it with different servers as different port numbers, like by using ng serve and your application name, and you can give the port number, what port number you want to configure.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So that way we will do it here, how the multiple applications to be interacting. So like either we can make a one main project which is only to taking care of your security or the login or something like that. So from there you can send your request to the multiple applications. Like maybe like here which I've taken, there are number of roles are present here. Like one role which add a user like admin, and another is like a driver. So driver, if driver wants to access it, first he should be approved by the admin. Like let me just go to the admin.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
So we can see here the view driver. So you can see there is one driver already approved. So he will be able to log in, and he already allocated for some bus. So that's why he will be not available till he finishes his bus traveling. So where the second driver will be not approved because he can't log in it. Once he approved, then he'll be able to log in. So that is I just taken Manish. I will just approve. Yeah, it's given some approval message. So once we want to go to the bus, so like we can add other buses and we can allocate the driver for it. So here when you go, so just another one, which is how the post and put methods will be taken care. So where you go for the add bus, like if you see here, the seating capacity will be, we can hard code the values here. It's minimum of 30, maximum of 70. And fare per kilometer also, which is a number. And the bus type is here. So again, it's a values which are already there. So where, let me just add a new bus. I will just give here and give travels. And the bus type is, I'll just take here AC seater, and I just added here a new bus. Yeah, so the bus got added here, and let me just go to the routes. So we have to add a route for what is the route we want to give it here. So I will just give here one route. So once the route is added here, for each route we can add number of pickup points and the drop points. Like I will add it here one pickup point. So whenever we just go here, the journey date when it should be travel. So that is 12/12 should be. So here it will be shown who are all the drivers which are approved. It will be from the database only which drivers are available. So other drivers it will be not showing here. So how will you get the data? Like if you see here which all the buses are available, it will show the buses. It is showing SRS Travels and Angu Travels because another bus is already have a schedule. So on route also there are two routes are available for which route you want to send it. So all these are the data which is getting from the database itself. Like your backend is giving this data. So which how it will be configured. Like I'll just go here, add new schedule. So which is here add bus schedule. For add bus schedule, we have a component which is called set schedule component. Yeah. So here first we have created all the arrays, which is buses, drivers, and all the route array, and we created a new bus schedule object. And then here the dates which we have taken as a string array, and the B and A which is the positions, and all the drivers who are available, and all the buses and the bus schedule. Whenever you want to get the data immediately after the component is rendered, we have to go with the ng on init method. So before you provide any data to this here, like in the drop downs, we want the data should be filled. So for that we have used the ng on init, because this method will be called after the constructor. So where you want to load the data to your front end, I've written here the service class. So that is here, if you go to bus schedule service. So in the bus schedule service, it is interacting with the backend project, which is HTTP localhost of 8089. And so it is running, thus the project name and the content type, and all the URLs are configured here. So which is giving the data, which is a type of observable data. It will be get the data from the backend application. So then it will be come to here, where is the application which schedule, set schedule. So in the set schedule component, we are calling here the methods which is returning the observables. As whenever the code is returning the observable, mandatory you have to subscribe it. So we subscribe and passing into the buses. So we pass the data to the buses here. Same way drivers and the routes. So which the data here already stored in the array. So that array we have to render it to our HTML. So that is here we used here the set, where is our yeah. So if you see the select class of form control and the route is ng module, and here you can see for the option we are using ng for let item of routes. Already the routes are stored in the routes array that we are getting here, and whenever we are sending, we want to only send the item dot route id. So we want to send only route id, route name is not mandatory. So we are displaying here item source, and it should be displayed with the uppercase. So we are displaying with the source and the destination. We are displaying here source and destination both. So that's what here we given the option. And whenever for all the drop downs we are using here select, and we are just checking from the array and displaying here both the values. But whenever you send the data, you add it, like you want to add a new schedule. So when you clicked on this button, it will be called the method called new bus schedule. Here in the new bus schedule, so see, you may be front end application is done by other and back end may be done by other person. So we don't know. But applications will always interact through JSON, right? So your JSON construction should be proper. According to your API documentation, you have to construct your JSON here. Like when we do submit here, like new bus schedule. So this is the bus schedule your backend will be accepting. That is, we are sending here the bus ID, driver ID, journey date, and the route ID. So the bus ID will be taken from the bus, and the bus schedule or the driver ID, and here journey date. We are getting here the date, which is in this format, that we are converting or storing into the one variable called new date. So date pipe transform we have used, and we are sending to the schedule. So this way we can construct your JSON. We always have to construct our JSON whenever you do the post, method. Like here, if you see add new bus schedule, it is in the service, and this add new bus, as add is a creating a new resource. Whenever you want to create a new resource, it is a type of post method. For this post method, we are sending a URL, and with the URL, we want to send the object, that is will convert into string. So JSON.stringify of bus schedule, and we are sending this dot header because we have to mention the application data will be exchanged with XML or which type of data. So the content type is application slash JSON. So that's where here we are giving application slash JSON data. So like this we can construct. The major here is how we are sending the JSON data, because both are different application will be interacting only through your data. So this data you have to construct what is the according to the API documentation. So the backend API is expecting the JSON should be in this format. So we have to construct the bus schedule object, because if you go here to the bus schedule object, so where is my bus schedule? So bus ID, route ID, driver ID, journey date. Yes, only these parameters are there. But we still we are constructing the object that is to send what data should be taken care. The same format we have to construct here the object and send it. Like, let me just take an example of any nested JSON which is there. So when you take here the bus booking, so whenever I am booking a bus, so I want to give a booking ID can be hard coded, because in the backend it is automatically generated. We don't need to send the value, but still my backend will not accept without the booking ID, so that we can just hard code the value. No need to take this value, because it will be auto generated also. Then boarding point here, this is the one value which is taken. So then the booking date, bus schedule, contact number, so all this. But if you see here, there is a one thing called user profile. So user profile is again another type of a object. So for this we have to construct here the whole object, that is contact number, date of birth, email ID, gender, name. So without this we can't send it. We are just configuring the dummy data, and the major important point is only user ID. So that user ID we are getting from this the login data of login user dot user ID, so which will be given with the local storage. That local storage we are getting here and sending it to the user ID. Then status and the fare. Again, the booking object contains the card details. Again, it is a one more object. So that is the booking have a user profile. It's a one object. In the user profile, we have a lot of other fields. And then card details. In the card details, again, we have a card number, card type, and CVV. And in that, again, we have a user profile and user credential object. So then user ID and valid too. So that is what data you want to send, only that you take a data, but remaining all you can send it as a null. So but still you have to construct your JSON object. So the JSON object construction is very much important when you make it as a application have a different relationships, or where what is your backend API will accept, what type of JSON format will be. So we will get that API JSON. So according to that, you have to construct for either to do the post method or put method. So are you clear with this?
Yes.
So that's why we will get it to our drop downs, and how we will construct it and send it. Once it is constructed the object, so again we are sending to the server and to your add booking method, which is in the service class. Always service class will be interacting with the application. So that is here we have a add booking, which is sending here the total JSON object, and then we are sending the this dot header, because which is the application that JSON will be accepted from your backend application, or what is the content type which you want to send it. So this way we will construct or the do the post method, and same way either if you go for the put method also. Okay, so where you will send the body as well to send the object. So that is what here how we will be doing the put, post, or getting the data to the drop down or session management, and how the Angular will be interacting with respect to the uh, other Angular application. So are you clear with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
So one doubt I was having, like when we have this communication from one app to another, right? So the parent app, the session we are storing in the local storage or session storage, whatever the scenario we will be going for. But same needs to be passed to the called app, right?
Yes, we
We
can
need
send
not.
it. No, because local storage or session storage will be stored to your browser, no? So we can
Correct.
send the same local storage here.
We
You're
can still
using,
get it from the
yeah,
same storage. Okay.
yes, because local storage will be stored to the browsers so
Browser.
that
Okay.
we can access it. Yeah,
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
yeah. So like, let me, so like then we just have to discuss about here the environment. So what is basically the environment which will be configuring here? Like when we do development, you have to set some properties, or if you want to go with the production, so you will be using the different. Like for example, so where always the environment.ts will be taken to the development phase, and the environment.ts will be taken for the production way. So where if you want to give which environment should be picked, so that is whenever you do building of your application. So whenever you do building of your application, ng build, and we can mention here what is the environment should be set. So that is we can use it here prod, so that it will pick the data from this particular environment which you want to configure it. So where here if you want to add a custom environments also, you can configure the custom environment, like you just create a new environment is like, let me just take it here. Like I'll configure some property maybe, yeah, constant environment. So I will use some one property here, which is any property. So some different property name I'm taking here, background. Color. I just give it as here blue. So this is a one property which we have configured. So that's the one property which we have configured. So whenever you do the building of your application in the development mode, so where we have used this nav background color, so it will be picked from here itself. So where if you go like you want to give the different production environment, so maybe in that production TS, like here, I will configure this too. I'm just taking a one simple example. So where here you given it as a green, so that if you done with the ng build of environment production, so wherever this property you will be used, this property will be picked the green color. So if this environment TS will be taken, so here the same way, what is you want to create create a different local variables, like what we will take it, I'll just use it here, the base URL, which is one property. So I'll take it here, HTTP, which is so localhost of 8089. What is simple project? Like I'm just giving one example. So here, this is the URL which I have configured. This is the base URL which I have configured. Okay. So then same way, like here the property, everything is same. So which I will give it here, some other port, or it may be a different project. Okay. So that in the service, so like in the service, what is the base URL environment you will be trying to access with the environment. This is a constant which we want to use it. So like if I go to the service, like let me just go to service, any one services, all services are here. Let me just go to bus booking service TS. So here, instead of taking here all the paths, what we can do it, yeah, here base URL is a string, right? So that is, let me just take here base example. I've just created one so that I have to get this from the environment, so that I will use it here, environment dot the base URL. So this is the base example which will pick the URL from this. Now instead of this dot base URL, you configure here this dot base URL, that is this dot base example. If you do it in the development mode, it will be get the data from the environment.ts. So that is, this is the environment ts, and it is talking to one test project. It may be a test project, it may be a actual project, but you no need to do any changes in any other places. So where your base URL you have configured in only one place, and get it to all your service. So like just I took it to one example here. Yeah, book. Yeah, which service I have written. Let it be anywhere. Like we can take it here, base URL equals, what is the environment? So environment, it's have a base URL. The same base URL you are accessing for the development mode, but if you give it with the ng build of environment production, then the different URL will be picked here. So that's way you can configure the different environments. Are you clear with this?
Yeah.
Prashant?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, so that is in the environment Proteus, or so any particular environment which you want to create it, so you can do it like this. So or I want another environment maybe for a testing environment. So we can create the another environment.ts file here. Environment test.ts. So I will use it here, which is for testing. So maybe here I will just give it for a here may be the different projects. So with the test environment, so we have to configure this so that it will be taken to that particular application for the testing environment. So clear with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that particular environments will be picked. This way we will configure all your environments. So where yeah, so when you come to state management or change of URL or the watcher, so basically when you go with the state management, so whenever you're working with any Angular application, in the Angular JS, we used to use it as a watchers. We used to write it as a watch uh, coding. So where we have a watch property of a variable, like watching of a variable changes, like either you go with in the same component some do changes or some other component, like if you want to watch something called scope variable changes, as we go with here, like how will you make your component interaction? Well, basically use the component interaction with the input decorator, output decorator with event emitter. So whenever like, yes, we have done one example on the radio buttons for this, right? So that is when we want to work with the input, so that is to carry those changes or to give your want to implement those changes whichever happen. So we can go with the one lifecycle hook, which is ng on changes. Ng on changes you can be used here. So, or we want to go with the you want to go with the event emitter with the observables. Like with the observable, if any changes happen, we have to taken care of that. So for that, we have a two different classes, which is subject or behavior subject. Subject or behavior subject. That is where if you want to go with the observables in the Angular, so that is the change of a URL which you want to take in care. So either we go with subject or behavior subject, but for the change of URL specifically, it's a behavior subject itself. Means it will set the initial value for the property whichever you are interested in. And then when you subscribe to the changes, the property whatever service is injected, so it will be given for that. Like for example, you can do the simple subscription with different values. Like just to give it here, if you have some class, like let me just take export class, some service will be there. We have to create here the one private variable, which is I'm taking here fixed, which is new behavior subject. I want to give a boolean value, so it will take a generic, that is what's the value we want to pass, boolean, and I'll pass it here, the fixed is true. So where I want to give the value for the fixed, so with the changes value, so we will represent the behavior subjects with the dollar, so equals this dot fixed dot, as we want to give it with the observable, so as observables. So where whatever the value it is fixed, or if you are doing the changes to that value, we have to have a setter and getter methods for this, so that we will use it here. Private set is fixed, the value which is boolean, so this dot fixed dot what is the next value which you want to give it, so that next value we can pass it here. And then you want to get the getter method for this. So when you want to write, if we have not, when you want to write with the getters, setters, and if you're not created a variable, directly you can write it with the set and space and the method name. That is the coding convention which we will write it for our getters and setters for this. And we'll write it here, written this dot fixed dot, which have a method which is a get value, which is in the behavior subject. Then for this class, I require a router and the location, because the router changes or the constructor changes, the location changes. So we'll use it here, constructor. We'll pass a router object. That location can be sent here. So the location and the router, again, the objects which we have taken. And the location is a JavaScript object that we can use it, or Angular location also available. So that is this dot router, that will pass what is a router object for the constructor, and then same way location. So that is like we have it here. You could use a behavior subject which allows you to set the initial value of a property. This is setting here initial value of a property, so which you are interested in. When the subscriber do some changes, the subscribe to the changes, then that property, whether the service is injected, so it will be just getting this. So that is, we have created here isFixed and setter and getter methods, and in the constructor we passed here. Then in this class we have to get the fixed value, right? So that is, how will you get it here in any observing component? So that is, we will just write any component which you are writing. So I'm just taking some example, which is observing component. Which is isFixed, which is Boolean. And then here, so where for the subscription the new changes should be given, so we can go with the subscription class. So that is subscription.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
So what is the name of a service I have written here? So I just took it as a some service. So the same service we are injecting to the component. So where, like in the page load, so we will use ng on in it. So with the subscription, what the object which we have created, to that we have to send it here the code, which is this dot some service dot whatever the fixed value which we have taken with the behavior subject, which is fixed dollar. So that will be given the observable data which the behavior subject, then we can use it here the subscribe method. In that subscribe method, because it's observable type, so we have to do the subscribe. So then here we'll use a fixed this dot, what is the value which we have used it here, is fixed, which we will allocate to fixed one. So this way we will be subscribe it. If you want to unsubscribe also whenever the data is destroyed, so we have a method which is again life cycle hook. We can write it here ng on destroy, which we will be by using this dot subscription, so which we will use a method called unsubscribe method. So this will do the unsubscription. Like as we discussed, observables can be subscribed and unsubscribed also, so that the updated values will be taken care here, so that in the navigation or wherever you have taken here the selected navigation items in that particular component, like here, let me just take updated value, which is export class navigation. In wherever you are accessing, so you have to inject that service here. So let me just take here the constructor, and we injected here what service we want to inject it here, then selected nav item, is fixed, the new value which you want to send it, the updated value can be given here. Like that we can go with the behavior subject and the subject. So where the behavior subject we will be used for this kind of scenarios, that is where I want to give the changes, that is, or you want to emit the event emitter or in the observable in Angular, so you want to go with the delegations or all those stuff, so then we can go with the behavior subject to be accessed with respect to the Angular. So where we have two things, one is subject and one more is behavior subject. So where you go with the observable, like When you go with any RxJS implementation, which is of reactive programming language, so where observable is the most basic implementation, where listen to the data changes. So, but we can go with a behavior subject. It is easier to use and typically has a wider use cases. The behavior subject and subject, there are both things are there. So where, one second, charge got over. Let me just connect it to charge. Yeah. Okay. So where difference between behaviors and subject is, the behavior subject will have an initial value which will be emitted when you are subscribed to. When you subscribing here with this method, the initial value will be given. So and later it will be updated. So the behavior subject are imported from the RxJS library only. So which is the standard way of the Angular project which we will be using. So where if you go with the subscribing and unsubscribing, so the new values which are keep on updating, we will be taken care. And we have one property also with respect to the codings whenever you work with the Angular. So that is, we have some change detection strategy. There is a change detection strategy is also there. So that change detection strategy, we can configure it in the any Angular component, which is a one property which is there. So in the change detection strategy, which will, if any values are changing, so where to take in care, we have a change detection strategy. Actually, it is a one default enum. Enum means it's a set of constants, right? So where we have it here, the two values, one is on push, the value is 0 here, and we have a default one, which is 1. That is on push means this strategy we can configure whenever you are writing a component. Like, let me just show it to you here. When you write any components, so where if you have any child components are present, if any child component changes the value, and you have to reflect it to the parent components, so that in the child component you can write it the change detection strategy, and what is the change detection strategy you want to give it. So that is the change detection strategy which have here change detection, and we can give change detection strategy. Default will be there as a default one only. If you want to give on push, which you can give it here. Okay. So that is, if any change detection strategies are working, so giving some problem, that we can apply it here. So that is, if any changes happen to your parent or to the children, so that you can use this particular properties to give it for the your parent component. It should be written in our children, so just I have written it here. Okay, so where your at the rate of component decorator you have used, so the changes which is taken care here can be passed with respect to change detection strategy, which is the default. It's always check always strategy, in which change detection will be automatically not happening, it is deactivated. If you're not configuring it, it will be a default, means it is not defaultly configured, it will be deactivated mode. So where on push means, it will check one strategy, meaning that if any automatic change detection is deactivated, until you reactivate it, we can set the value from on push, so that this strategy will be applies to all child directives and cannot be overridden, so that we can taken care of the change detection strategy with respect to our code, so that we are able to detect the changes which is happening to the previous component, which is happening to your previous component, very any child components where you are using. So all those places you can apply the change detection strategy here. Like for example, if you go to any component, like I have one component here which is have some values, like sorry, are you clear with the behavior subject here?
Yeah, I'm clear.
Sorry, am I going fast?
No, no.
Prashant, are you clear?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. So where when you go here with the on-chain strategy, which is change reduction, like if you have some component, like I have here one component, which is app component, app child components. So where in my app component, you have some array values, like let me just take it here, any array, like I'll just take it here, one array which is called foods. As I'm a foodie, I just take food example. So I just have it here some food arrays. So where in the app component HTML, you have some input type button. Maybe you have used some directive or you have used any property. That's okay. So it's a input. So which is, I'll just give one placeholder. Enter a food item. So when you enter the food item here, so like for this you are taking here one button. Which is add food. So whatever the new food you are having, so that new food dot value. There is one button here. So this what simple your HTML component which you have it. So where we have some other children, that is where you are rendering your data from the child component. So maybe here you will use it app child. So that is the data rendering will be happen in that. So where we are taking here one property called data. So which we are using here, which is foods. This is what my app child is there. Right. So where, so maybe in the child component, like in the child component, let me just take your example, which is UL. So I have here star ng for of let item of data. Okay, so this is what we have it here, and it is displaying here the item. So whenever you are adding the data from the other component, the parent component is adding one item here and the child component, so everything will be works as expected if you return that. So when the new food item get added to your list, so our input in the child component that receives it, the data from the parent, right? Data from the parent, it should be here. So now we can add here the change strategy. So that is the change detection can be, the change detection strategy can be added in the child component so that it will be work anymore. So that is with this, the things don't seem to be work anymore. So that is new data still gets pushed into our food array in the parent component, but Angular don't see a new reference, does not run the changes here. So the change reduction on the component. So we want to get it, like to make the changes to this, what we have to write it here. So that is where you written the array method, so in that we have to write the add food method. Like here we can write it here, the add food method, which we are passing here the food. We have to give it here this dot foods, which we have to make it to what is the reflection of the data. So that is, you can pass all the values, so that is we'll use it here this dot foods, then what the new object we are sending. So with this variation we are not muting the food array anymore, so it's returning a completely new one. So where you want to change to taken care of the change detection, so we can have the change detector reference in the child component. So in the child component we can write the change detector, and in we can have our own method, so where we have the change detector reference object, which have the method called detect changes. So it will be detect the changes and we will be giving. So where with the change detector itself, we can create with a behavior subject, so that we can mark what is the changes which has happened. We have a mark for check that will be instruct the Angular, which input will be trigger the change detection when the objects are mutated. When the objects are muted, so then we can do the changes. So whenever you have a parent and child relationship, so like whenever you go with any Angular component, like I just took here one reference material. So whenever you create any Angular project you have taken one component, it is interacting with component 1, other component 4, and it's have a service. Again, component 1 may be interacting with component 2, component 3. So that is, here is your app component is a main component. The app component has a two childs. This is component 1 and component 4. Then again, component 1 have a two children, which is component 2 and component 3. So then this service is interacting with the component 3 and component 4. It's actually basically the real one, right? So it becomes useless and more painful when you are going with this kind of approach. So that is what we can do it here. So we can go with Angular services, variables, and the promises, where I'll just come back here. So for this, that is where you want to work with. So we have already considered two built-in approaches, which is the state management implementation in the Angular, which are the possible to use without a headache. Only app consists of a few components. In order to handle your state management of an application, that you can work or consider the usage of RxJS, which is React applications. So the React changes applications can be used. So for that, we have a library which is called RxJS. We can go with the RxJS with the observable data services or Angular service with RxJS. So where the observable data, which is with the RxJS. So you have a different apps and different components are interacting, how we will be taken care. Let me just take in here. So there are customers, which user can see the list of customers and its detail, and products, user can see the list of products and its detail. So, and we have some invoices, so user can see the list of invoices and its details. So where this is a simple three main routings are there in this application. So like there is one service here. When you go with this, if you want to give some initial values and taken care, go with the behavior subject. So I don't want to give it with any initial values. See, you can go with the subject here. So that is either you go with the way of approach with the subject and behavior subject, or with change detection with the change detection strategy also can be applied to this. So where all the three services objects are created here, and for each variable of a subject, you can see, or for the observables, we have created the variable with a dollar. So this is a naming convention which we follow when we use the subject or behavior subject. And just it's here the method custom into initial invoice collection, so that we are getting here the customer service dot customer list and pipe. So it is taking a one argument, and then we are piping with the invoices and the customers. So where we are finding with invoice dot customer ID, we are comparing is the customer ID. But here when you go with the subject and behavior subject, like whenever you have the data should be shared among the multiple components which are non-related. Like maybe you have a different types of a components, like you may have siblings, you may have parent child, right? So where it is a parent and child, so we go with the change reduction strategy, which is on push, and we can go with the input decorator, output decorators, or you can go with the view child. So how can you share the data between the siblings? So like siblings means the both components are on the same level. So how will you work with this? For this only we'll go with subject and behavior subject. That's the one more use case where we'll go with the subject and behavior. So like all the services which we have it, let me just, yeah. So that is, we will take it here, the new state management object, which is of type of invoice. This is to take your state. So basically with the state management, we have a reducers to be created. So where we can configure the applications to be taken care. So where we have a managing, like we will have a types of a state where the server state or transient state or client state or route state or local UI state, where you will be having the synchronizer state or tackling a status. So you will be having a difference. So where either we can add with the RxJS or Redux or NGRX is also there. So it depends on which type of code you are writing. So where you will be going with a different approach. So it's a completely different approach to be taken care with the RxJS. By using RxJS library, will taken care of all the ways. Like where I was just explaining about the state component. So where you have a UI component and you have a state, UI and the state in the middle, you will be having the component. So it becomes complicated when multiple components look to the same state. So to manipulate them. So in that particular case, using the backend state directly, we will use a async pipe or to API to taken care of that. That is where you have a parent child, inner new child. Yes, we can go with input output decorators have you have used for the employee application. Where if you have all those or siblings or still with the input output I don't want to go with, so we have something called shared service. So by using the power of RxJS, what we have discussed till now, so there we can give the state of a code into the multiple components. So by you creating a new state management, so where this would collection of our invoices will be stored into the state object, which is a type of state management. As we have needed the ability to transfer data in the future, so we can add any basic or any CRUD functionality to persistent storage. So where we will be go with a simple storage. So basically the subject or behavior or the state which we want to go with. So it may be non-related components or related components or any type of components. You want to share the same state of an object, we will go with RxJS library, or we can go with the state management lifecycle, which we have it with NGRX also. Previous versions, yes, in the latest version also, we can go with the RxJS, the combination of Angular plus RxJS, which is NGRXs, which is Angular plus RxJS. So which is library for composing a asynchronous and event-based programs by observing the sequences. So where we have some 4 components in it, or the 4 building blocks, which is the first one is store, second one is action, and the third one is reducer, selector, we have effect. These are the 5 building blocks which we have it here, which is there are several building blocks. So like here, the first one is a store. So where store is a global application state. It's the global application state that will be shared by all the components, Action means, which is any change in the application state is considered as a new event. If any state change happened to that particular uh, application or the variable, any change in that application state is considered to be a new event. So the changes like user interactions, like components or several logic to change the application state is all considered as a new action, which is a new event. We have a reducer, which any action performed will be addressed by the reducer to perform some logic, and it return always a new immutable state in the store. Will give immutable state in the store. So where selection, it is a function, it is used to retrieve the partial state and not for all the components. Where fx is, they also listen for some action types that deal with the service part. So where you want to debugging in a better way with NGRX, we can use NGRX development tools. NGRX development tools are also there. So with that, we can just go with this. Like to take this state management, so I've just uh, take another application. Just give me a minute. So like here, it's a simple application. So let me just take it with this. So there is no routing, nothing else here. Okay. So it's a simple component HTML, which is have a decrease and increase method, which we have almost similar kind of application we have done by using the view child and view children. Okay. So where the parent child things are there. So like here now we have a app component ES. In this app component ES, we have one method, which is the increase method and the decrease method. So where we have used here some counter action. So that is, there is a class called, there is a component called increment action and decrement action. So in the action, so just to explain this all the 5 building blocks, I just took one simple example. Okay. So which is here, we taken count number as 0. Okay. Then we want a store first. So that is what will be the store will be doing. What is the job of store? So it's a global application. So it's a global application state that will be shared by all components. Okay. So we created here one store variable which have a one store interface, which is from store to store I have taken. There is one store ts file also. So what is there in the store.ts?
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
So in the store.ts, we created one interface which have a counter variable, and apart from that, there is a to do. There is a to do variable which we have it here. So to do is a one type of a class which we created in the reducer package. Okay, so which is a store interface. Then we have one custom action class which have a type and the payload. Payload is what is the request body which you are taking, which is a type of any. And we have export const which is reducer. So we are taking with the, you can see the libraries which we are using is ngrx, which is Angular plus rxjs. So that ngrx we have taken, and we have taken here action reducer map, that is to taken to store interface, which is to call your reducer classes. So that is what the reducer will be doing. It will be taken any action performed by the reducer to perform some logic and return a immutable state in the store. It will return the immutable state. So where we take in one counter, which is a type of counter reducer, and to do's, which is a to do reducer. Let us just go to app component HTML, and we have taken here increase and decrease method, and click here button, click load method. Okay, so what this increase, decrease and load method will be doing in the app component ES. In the app component ES, we have written a constructor. So first we constructed the store because to uh, state will be shared by all the components. So we have got it here, this dot store dot select method. So which is calling here the selectors, which call the subscribe method, and what is the count we want to give it. So that count we are taking here. Then we are doing here this dot store dot subscribe. Why it is subscribe method? So that is it here the store is a type of the store object, which is a predefined here. The store from ngrx of store. So where Angular store, which is given the observable data, so we have to subscribe it. You can see we are sending a selectors here, which is from this selectors from the reducer package, which we want to send it here, and that we are subscribing the data. So it's a one component which we have used, and it's our simple two methods, which is increase and decrease. Whatever the changes of code is happening here, we are dispatching this method. So dispatch is a method which is from the store. So dispatch, we are dispatching a new increment action of 2. So it should be incremented by 2 because we are sending here 2. Same way when the decrement option is happening, again decrement option with 2. So then when you call the load method, we are dispatching the new load to do action. So we are dispatching number of actions with this, so number of objects. So where is this increment action class is present? So this increment action and decrement action we created in the action class, which is there are two actions. The first one is counter action, second one is to do's action. In the counter action, we have a two export classes. It's a normal class, which is an increment action. We are the type dot string increment variable, and payload is a number which we are sending here. Constructor, the payload. Same way for the decrement also. So if you are calling new increment of 2, the payload will take a 2. Here also payload is taken 2. That's what the counter action class is doing. Action, the class which any change in the application state is considered as a new event. So the new event will be called, whatever the data is already present. So the new event will be considered, and changes like you are doing any user interaction, like changing the app state, or you can do some event, it will always take it as a new event. So such an event is called a action in the store, as called a store world. Then same way we are calling here to-dos event. In the to-dos event, to-dos action, we have load to action, which is calling here load, and string is given here success or fail, which is success action, which is failed action. You can pass any string. And if you see here again, for the constructor, we are passing a payload. That after this action classes, we have the effects. So what is this effects? The effect will also listen for some action type that deal with the service part. So it will be listen. So in the to-dos, to-dos.ts, what I'm taking in the to-do effect, so it's an injectable one. So in the injectable one, we are taking this dot actions. So here the actions which we are taking from RxJS effects. So that the pipe we are sending, we are taking some REST API, which is some dummy REST API. So which is a method which is some data which we are considering from the JSON placeholder. This is some to-dos application. This one simple fake REST API. Let me just ping that here. So this is giving some REST API, which is user ID, title, and completed. So it's have some lot of data. Okay. So this data is available here. So for this, we are getting here the success action and the failure action. So because always your get method or any observable method will give the either successful message or the error message. If successful message, like we are using dot pipe in the service, the map of data, if it's a success action, we are returning the new success action and we are sending a payload, which is the data. And if it is an error, we are taking a failed action and error is sending. So that's what here our to-do effect is happening. The constructor, we return only HTTP client and the action. So whenever you go with the HTTP interaction in the module class, you have, like in the module, we have to go with the HTTP client module. Like this is the HTTP client module we have taken. So that's what our to-dos effect is doing. Then we have a reducer. So like I guess we have taken here the counter reducer and to do reducer. So any action will be performed here. That's what we have taken. The counter we initialized with the initial state of 0, and we are returning the counter reducer method, which is a function, and we are taking if the action type is increment, whatever the state you have plus action dot payload. The payload you are sending a 2, whatever the state it will be there, that it will be incremented by 2. If it is a decrement, then we are doing here minus. So it will be doing the what is the state, like the first time when you load your application, the counter value is 0. So the state will be 0. If I do increase, it is increasing by 2. So how it is increasing by the 2? So that is, it will come here to the counter reducer. So because in the app component, we call the counter reducer, which is state.n and action payload. The action payload which we have sent is 2 and the state is 0. So 0 plus 2 is 2. Then the n value will be stored as a 2. Same way, it is taken here the action state for the decrement. Apart from increment or decrement, if you called anything, the versional state should be as it is to be written. So that's what we are returning here, the state. Same way with to-dos reducer TS, we are getting the successful payload, or if it's a failure, the action dot payload, which is a returning a state. So when this to-do reducer will be called, the to-do reducer will be called when in the app component TS, when you call the load method. There is a button which is to call the load to-do action. So that is here when I call load to-dos. Instead of writing some front-end code and all, I just return the array in the browser. So yeah, here you can see the array, which is of, there are 200 records are there. So it's written array of 200, which is 0 to 99. All the user ID ID, title, whatever the data here we are getting in the JSON. User ID, title, and the completed. Same data like whenever you do load to dos. Second time when I click, so again 200 objects are written. Okay, so that's way you will be go with. Whenever you want to make the interacting between your sibling components or parent child, any type of components, you go with the subject or behavior subject. And with this, if you want to take in care of any state management, if you want to take in care of a state management, so Angular recommends to go with the RxJS with NGRX, which is Angular plus RxJS. So with this library, we can go with all this building blocks. So any doubts with this application?
No.
Prashant?
No, I'm good.
So you're good? Both are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess almost I have, yeah. I guess everything which we have discussed, I just completed all these things. So apart from
Now
that,
it's
if you
left to
have
us.
an, sorry?
Now it is left to us how we practice.
Yeah. So I'll give the code which I demonstrated. I'll upload the backend and front end, which is required for that. Or if you want only front end, I can upload only front end also.
Fine. Either way.
Yeah.
Both
I'm
would be
okay.
good.
Both
Yeah,
would be
I'll
good.
just upload. Yeah. I'll upload the both and the state management one also. Already e-commerce one I have uploaded, but I'll upload it again because today I have added this portion. So you can just walk around, and if you have any doubts or anything, you can ping me anytime in the WhatsApp because already you have my number, right? You can ping it
Sure.
anytime.
Thank you.
So how was the session? Did I met your expectation? Are you okay? Have you felt?
Yes. Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, sorry, Sri, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, it's good, Sweta. So as expected, whatever I wanted to grasp, probably it would have been better if I would got time to do hands-on. But yeah, I will play the recordings and start repeating things in my own. Probably I'll reach out to you in WhatsApp if needed.
Sure. Anytime.
Thank
Because
you.
generally we have a different Angular sessions, which is we'll have 5 days and we'll have 2 days. So as yours is 2 days, no, like how much maximum I can cover it in the 2 days? Almost whatever we do for 5 days with the hands-on, I have done it without the hands-on for the 2 days.
Yeah. I covered maximum content that I expected. Thank you.
You can give the feedback in our portal as well.
I think I am giving every day.
Yeah. I guess yours I got it. Yeah, Shri has not given.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, Shri. Yeah, any feedback from your side for me? Like it's good. How it
Yeah, it was
is?
great. I learned a lot, so it was very informative and very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, if you have still any doubts, we can discuss, or else if you're okay, I can wind up a session. It's up to you. I'm okay for both.
I'm good. I have no doubts.
So whatever we discussed today, everything I'll upload it to the last session. That is one is the ATA project, and one more is the state management. Yeah, you can ask any of your doubts if you have any doubts with this. Shri told she don't have any. Okay. Prashant, if you have any doubts, you can ask me.
No, I think I'm good for today. I have to consume all this knowledge that has been given last.
Our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.